The call sign editor is more in the mentality of we want you to be able to brand yourself online. So we do a lot to make players famous for what they do. Like in Call of Duty 4, a lot of the community, they play and maybe they're not the highest kills in a match, so they don't really get any recognition because that's what everybody focused on. It's like, oh, you're number one in the in-game report, so you must be the best player. But that's not really the case. That's only true in team deathmatch games where kills are the only thing that matters. Where you have players are like, oh yeah, that's great, but I was defending the whole time. Like, why don't I get rewarded? Or I took out all the helicopters. Why don't I get rewarded? So now we identify players when they do something well. If you take down a helicopter, your call sign comes out and tells everybody, so-and-so took down a helicopter. So the call sign editor is a way for you to customize basically your brand online, who you are. So people can identify you just by your emblem and your title and your name and your clan tag. So you have all these elements that determine who you are as a player. And how you unlock stuff is based on what you do. So say you're shooting down a bunch of helicopters. You shoot down like 20 helicopters, and now you have a call sign that's called Shot Down, and it's like a guy with a 6-shooter, and it's really cool. And then if people see you with that call sign, then they know you're somebody who takes care of air support. So now you're that guy on the team who can handle that, because probably your class always has an AT-4, so you can shoot down. Because kill streaks now, you can shoot down everything. UAV is actually a physical UAV in the air, so you can shoot it down. Helicopters you can shoot down. AC-130 you can shoot down. Anything can be taken out. So yeah, the more stuff you do, the more specific emblems and titles you'll unlock. And there's hundreds and hundreds of them. I mean, from everything of just getting one-shot kills with sniper rifles to knifing a bunch of people to...
dying 5 times in a row?
Yeah, accident prone.
I can do that.
Accident prone is if you accidentally suicide a bunch of times, you'll get accident prone. Or if you accidentally drop a care package on your own head, which will break your neck and kill you. Like that gives you a call sign. So some are comical, some are things that are not, to be proud of, and then some things are because you're a badass. Like even if you like master a weapon, then you'll get like, marksman badges for each individual weapon. There's hundreds of them. It's all about having situational awareness, especially now multiplayer, because there's so many more layers to it. We have so many dynamic objects and ways to use the environment against your enemy and to change visibility and just to bring immersion into the game. So that goes into designing a level so they feel like living, breathing environments. Like people can attack you from anywhere, basically, in a realistic manner. So we really just incorporated what we saw happening a lot in our games anyways, of like, snipers, even in Call of Duty 4, when we didn't mean them to, would be like, oh, that's a nice place to snipe from. And they'd find a way to climb on a fence and jump into a tree and then walk across a wall and jump on a roof and lay there and snipe. And we're like, well, that's cool, but if it's not designed for that, then it can become unbalanced. So we're like, okay, let's start incorporating that mentality into the actual design of the levels. So we built it so you can really use the environment that's best for your playstyle. So a sniper wants to get a high sniping spot, but let's also balance it so it's not frustrating and not cheating, basically. So it just adds more depths and more layers to how it's strategy used in a level. Because early on we did co-op campaign, but it just changed that cinematic feel, that immersion. We very much, the story was very important for us, and a lot of times when you had another player, that stuff was ruined. Like the cliffhanger mission, if you're sitting on the mountainside with just soap, and now somebody else is soap, and he's spinning around and shooting in the air, and it just ruins the moment you're trying to build. I mean, we put a lot of polish into the experience as a whole for that one person. I mean, Hans Zimmer came in and scored it all, and it's very, action movie-esque. And when you have another player, you have to design for that, and the design that was the result was not what we wanted to achieve. So it was done, and moments of it were fun, but that wasn't worth breaking the entire story. So instead, we took the moments that were fun, like snowmobiles and all that, and defending a house with 2 players, and we took those moments and put them in Spec Ops and then built out more levels specifically for Spec Ops. and kept the story intact because there are, believe it or not, still gamers who love to just sit down with surround sound and the story mode and just play through it by themselves. And we wanted to make sure they had that pure experience and didn't change design to appease the masses. So we think of it as having the best of both worlds. A lot more elements in how you can customize your class now. Like, for example, you have equipment, which, some things that we used as perks in the last game can now be used as equipment.
Okay.
Or some things that we used as perks last time can now be attachments. Like in the first game, a good example is we had the Bandolier perk, which gave you more ammo. Well, now that's an attachment. It's extended magazines. So you put it's an actual physical thing that's out of the perk system. And that allowed us just to expand things even more. So now you have many more attachments. You can swap out equipment now that you couldn't before. So before you had a frag grenade and you could choose between 3 different specials. Now you have your 3 different specials. Or you can switch out your frag grenade and get like a throwing knife, which is really good for like stealth because it's silent and you can pull it back out and keep it. A blast shield, so you have less damage from explosions. Tactical insertion, which allows you to throw down a flare, and wherever that flare lands is where you will respawn for the next life, which is really cool for like capture the flag because you're running up, get behind a corner, throw it down, run out to get a flag. If you die, you can spawn back there. So a bunch of stuff like that. So we really just changed the way things are presented and better fit and balance things. Like some things are better balanced as an attachment, some things are better as a perk. And then now you can upgrade perks, so it's like specializing your class. If you want to focus on speed, you get a perk that makes you run faster. You keep using that, you unlock the pro version of that perk that now lets you run faster but also allows you to aim faster. Definitely shapes decisions you make. Like that's the whole reason we introduced death streaks in the Modern Warfare 2 is because in Call of Duty 4 we had martyrdom, which when you die you drop a grenade and it blows up, and it was designed to be something that was for players who weren't very good to use, but then it got abused by all the players who were very good, and then it became very frustrating because everybody was using it, and then so we thought, okay, now how can we rethink the same mentality of making games accessible for players who aren't, the super elite players, but not have it abused by the people who are really good. And that's where death streaks came along. So death streaks basically are the opposite of kill streaks. Kill streaks you get rewarded for getting a lot of kills in a row. Death streaks say you die 4 times in a row and never get a kill. That's very frustrating. So you get 4 kills in a row, or you die 4 times in a row, don't get a kill, now your death streak's enabled. And the death streak allows you, it's basically a handicap in golf would be, where you get an extra boost for that next life. So you die 4 times in a row, don't get a kill. Now next time you spawn, you have painkiller, which is double the health for like 10 seconds. So now you can run out, maybe get a few kills and get back in the game a little bit. Or copycat, which allows you to steal the class of the last person who killed you. So maybe you get dominated by this guy and he's a level 55 and you're like, okay, now for your next life you can use everything that he just used on you. And so maybe that'll give you a little boost in helping your hand. And it gradually teaches you different tactics and way to play the game better. So that's something that came from just watching how people played Call of Duty 4 and realizing we had to change the way we approached it before. It made it much better this time. The whole point system's changed. We have splashes and rewards. Like I said, we reward you for everything now. So if you take down a helicopter, you get XP and points. If you kill a guy with a bomb, you get XP and points. If you defend a bomb, you get XP and points. If you kill a flag runner, you get it. If you recover that flag, if you kill a flag runner, recover that flag, and then cap the flag, you get even more points. And you get all these. You're constantly being recognized for everything you do, because we realized in Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty 4 became a massive multiplayer game. Bigger than most multiplayer games. So we got to see all these trends and stuff, and we realized everybody's a different kind of player. Like you said, you like to sit in one spot and focus on one-shot kills and all that, where I like the running gun. I'm the assault guy who runs in and just opens fire. And then some people just like to play defensively. So they can just grab a riot shield and a blast shield, never fire their weapon, and help their team win. So they should be rewarded for being that type of player, because they're good at being that type of player. Just because they're not a running gunner doesn't mean they're not a good player. So we've really rewarded people for what they're good at in the game, which I think is important, because a lot of games just focus on being the best killer. when this is really about being the best team member.